All can hear me, right? Good morning. Good morning. Say good morning. Still I can't hear. Good morning. Great. So I'm going to give a talk about Chrome Devtools. First of all, how many working professionals here? Can you raise your hand? Students? How many of you actually have ever developed a web application? Right. Have you used DevTools? Right? Okay. I think that's enough. Even if that's not enough, it's the age of AI. We all are learning continuously. So it makes sense to learn about DevTools, what is happening in DevTools. So that's my talk here. So we're going to talk about DevTools, web performance, how AI can help you in that, all those. Okay? Okay, so some promise. Last Google I/O, Google team, they worked on a lot of features on web tools, because the dev tool is the one single tool that I'm aware of giving all these tools for web developers. So if you're a web developer, you might be using it. But I'll tell you one thing. How many of you want to be front-end engineers here? Anyone? Okay, I see very less hands. But I'm very honest that probably a front-end engineering job might not exist in future, right? Because it's the age of vibe coding. People are vibe coding a lot. Front-end code is generated by AI. So I don't think that front-end engineering is a role that anybody would look for in a couple of years, because we generate a lot of code. But you see this, there is a very interesting job that is criteria that is happening on LinkedIn. You see there, I'm a white code cleanup specialist. Anybody knows why? Because people start white coding a lot, and they get into a problem where AI generates a lot of messy code. Someone wants to come back and clean it up. Got it? They want humans to clean it up, and they're charging a lot. So you could actually also aim for this one. You can go and clean up the AI code. That's just a job, but again, there's one more to talk about today. Because at the end, we use AI, we use agents, we use all these tools to make our life better. So this is the overall agenda for today. What we're going to talk about is what is new in performance and Lighthouse. Some DevTools panel, what is happening with AI. I think if you look at it, every single product is integrating AI, and Chrome is nothing less. Chrome is also integrating AI into it to make your life better. So we'll see those. And I'll also give more demos here. But regarding demos have a traditional thing that 99% of demos will fail. So if demos fail, I'll try to explain it by my own words. But I'll try to do more demos than talk here today. And I'll also talk about some pitfalls, handoff tactics and all. Okay, let's go to the first session. Before doing that, I'm going to get a bit more about me. I'm Shidhin. I'm a GDE in web technologies. I'm a GDE for the last 10 years. I work mostly in front-end in my life. And recently started learning AI, agentic AI, things like that. But I also work as a staff engineer in Atlanta. And that's my handle sheets here that I use mostly all the platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, everywhere. So if you want to talk to me later about past questions, feedbacks, I really appreciate you giving me feedback. Use that handle. The first thing about performance is not about your laptop. It's about their laptop. I was working for Flipkart in 2014 that time. This is what we first tell about ourselves. Because in Flipkart we get high-end laptops, but our customers are not using high-end laptops, right? They might be using a mobile phone with a 3G connection, and they might have a laptop which has a very low bandwidth. So the first rule in performance isn't about your laptop, it's always about their laptop. So you have to always think about it in their terms. But there are some tools in DevTools which will help you to achieve that. We'll first talk about that. And before we actually go into the actual technicality, how do you actually tell that one website or one application is slow or bad, right? You can't say that. So recently we introduced something called Web Vitals. It's very like your body vitals, right? Let's say you go into a hospital. Okay, you have a problem. You are not well. You go to a hospital. The doctor first asks you to check your vitals, blood pressure, sugar, cholesterol levels, all those, right? And based on that, you conclude that, okay, what is the problem that you have? Similar to that, in web application development, we have this web vitals. There are many web vitals, but there are 3 core web vitals, which are largest contentful pane, interaction to next page, and cumulative layout shift. So these 3 measure 3 different problems. The first one, actually, largest contentful pane, measures how fast your website is loading. The fast is very subjective one, right? Because each people see the way page loads in a different way, right? Someone is actually okay with the loading indicator. Someone is not even okay with the loading indicator. So it's actually measured that. It measures how fast your page is loading. The second one is interaction to the next page. I think I've seen this particular video where there's one person who wanted to buy something. Okay, so he went to a shopping website, he clicked on a checkout button, nothing happened. He clicked again, the order executed twice. It's a very bad user experience problem, and these kind of issues are actually measured by interaction to next page. And then the last one is cumulative layout shift, where the page is jumping, right, when you load the page. So it's a very high level term, but you might need to understand it when you want to actually jump into web performance. So we also talk about how and what are the changes that happen in web performance panel. Okay, one typical tool performance engineers used to use was Lighthouse. Anybody heard about Lighthouse here? Okay, some. Lighthouse was a tool developed to measure these core web vitals initially. Okay, it was an independent tool. Now, with the latest additions, all these tools are combined into a performance panel. I'll give you a demo of how it works. And with that, you don't have to switch between multiple tools to understand what is happening. You only need to go to the performance panel and you get the entire information about your web application performance in that one. And one more thing I want to talk about is, okay, these are some of the changes that happened recently. But if you see here, right, there are 2 ways. The first one is local and second one is field personnel. It's a clever thing that Chrome came with this. Most of the people, they use the Chrome browser, right? Are you using any other browser than Chrome? Firefox. Okay, Firefox is a very common browser. But look at Chrome. How Chrome does is that, let's say that you're building Flipkart.com, okay, on your local. So you know that, okay, how much time it loads in your development, right? It takes around, let's say, 1.8 seconds to load. But you don't know how your users are experiencing it. So Chrome said, okay, what we do is that we know how many people are using Chrome, right? On their devices, what is the average time? So they don't take the average time, they take the 75th percentile time. So for a particular website, this website, locally it loads in 1 second, but the 75th percentile time is 3 seconds. That means, that's what I initially said, right? It's all about their laptop. For your users, it takes around 3 seconds to load. Similarly, you can see this the same code values for all the metrics. Now, if you want to debug something on that standard, how do you do it? And that's why they also came up with something like, you can change your CPU and network speed also to test it. That we'll see now. So the first thing is that before doing any performance debugging, mimic a typical user. To do that, we do this. So you can just go and you change your CPU speed. For example, if you're using a MacBook, right? MacBook has high CPU, right? High memory and good processing power. But if a user is using a Windows laptop with an i5, your application won't even run for him properly, right? So what you do is that you go change your CPU setting give a for a slowdown. Similarly, you can also change the network speed, change to 3G or 4G. If you make an application which works smoothly on this environment, then it will work for very best for everyone. That's guaranteed. Now, as I said before, right, the Lighthouse tool is also getting integrated into the performance panel. We'll actually see a demo how this works. Okay, so this is what I said. Many of these things, because if you are a beginner, might not make sense to you, but these are the tools I'll tell you. This is the flame chart. If you are from a backend, you might have seen what a flame chart is. So if your JavaScript is getting executed on a browser, if something is blocking, everything is executed on a main thread. This is that main thread is. So any functions, any code is taking time, you can actually see here on the flame chart. Just understand that there is something called flame chart. On the left side, they move something called insights. So every insight about your web application, you can find it here on the left side. We'll also see a demo about this. And last, since I said right, every single tool is integrating AI, we also have AI DevTools. So we're going to see more about that in the demos, how we use AI in DevTools for performance, for styling, understanding about your code, all those things. So AI can help in multiple areas. For example, some of the things AI introduced here is that you can use it for fixing styling bugs. How many of you know about CSS here? CSS? Great. CSS is considered to be very hard programming language. It's not even a language, but people will consider, especially people coming from back-end experience, they even find hard, centering a div. It's not a problem now. You can actually use AI to do all these things now. The thing is, the good thing about being AI in your dev tool is that you could use cursor, cloud and all, but if you want some very immediate feedback how it looks like when you change something, you can use this. Similarly, you can check for your network request, how much time a particular network, why a particular network is slow. So this might be helpful. So when you start working in a company, there are front-end team, back-end team, cloud team and all, right? One of the problems I've seen is that a front-end engineer needs to communicate to the back-end and say that, the network is slow, your back-end is slow. He'll come up and ask questions, give me more data points. Then it's a big task for the front-end developer to get the data points and give to them, right? With AI, you can easily ask questions, it'll generate you data points, you can just give to the back-end developer. And you can also understand source file and see page performance. We'll see demos for that. Great. First of all, to explore the AI assistant, now some caveat. The data is being sent to Google, so don't send your any private data, because don't give the keys, your cloud keys and all to Google. It's not secure. Also, you might need to use your Google account. You have to log in and use your Google account for that to use. And you can enable the AI in DevTools by going to this AI innovations. You check all these console inline, inside AI assistants and auto annotation. All these things can help you out. And as I said before, be very careful with the sensitive data. Okay, now it's time for the demos. I'm done with the talk. Rest of it you can go and figure it out yourself. I'll give you enough links to check this out on AI tools. But let me start with the demo. Now the first demo, what I'm going to do here is that all those things I explained, right, about web vitals and all, I'll take a simple example for a flight booking website. Okay, let me open this. Okay, this is upwardtravels.com, a flight booking company. Okay, let me start with this. So this is how you go to the developer tools. You do an inspect, okay? And there is a what's new section. Anytime if you want to know what's happening on DevTools, you can always go to the what's new section and then you can find out what's happening. And now this is the performance one that I talked about. So everything about the web performance, you can find it here. As I said here, right, locally this website is loading under 2 seconds for me. But for all the users across the globe, it's taking around 6 seconds. That means this website is slow. And These are live metrics. So as soon as you interact with this thing, right? For example, I click on this, you can see that the data getting updated here. This is the interaction data. Okay. Now I can also change the CPU to 6x slowdown, and then I can also change the network speed here. So the first thing I will try to understand, I want to find out what is causing this web page to load slow. So what I do here is, I come here, I do a performance profiling. This is what I do. The performance profiling is a very common concept, not just for web developers. Even if you are an AI developer, backend developer, you do performance profiling using different tools. And for front end, this is how we do the performance profiling. Just come here, reload. So it will keep tracing. So I will wait for that to complete, and then we'll see what are data that we got. So as I said, right, on the left side we have the inside. It tells you everything about what is happening on your largest content page. What are the requests that is blocking? What is causing initial page to slow load? What are the network dependency tree? So here I can see that, okay, this is CSS file, okay, which take around 4 seconds to load. Probably that CSS file is not even needed for the first page load, right? It might be used for something else. You can optimize it, but it will just tell you this thing here. Similarly, these are the flame chart data. This is the network request that I can see as a waterfall. But here I can see the flame chart. Some tasks are saying this is the place where JavaScript is getting executed. So if you are not able to interact with the page, this is where you go and check out what is causing the problem. Now, look at this. There is a button here, right? Here you can click and you can talk about everything about your page. You can go and ask questions like, what is the performance issues that exist with my page? Okay, so what you see here is the context. I think now everybody understands that, right? AI need context process. Here, the DevTools intelligently give the context to the AI. So if I click on this one, it take the whole page as the context. Now, if I can just come here and ask about, let's say, how can there's a font which is getting loaded here, right? I can ask questions about here. I can say debug with AI and ask about how to improve this. So it gives you proper suggestions because there's something called font display swap. What it does is it loads your font on the background. It won't wait for it. So otherwise what happens is that if the page is waiting for the font to load, you only see a white page, blank page. For let's say 3 seconds you don't see anything. And after that when the font is downloaded, it shows you the page. It's a very bad user experience. So there's something called font display swap. What it does is the font getting downloaded on the background. As soon as the font is downloaded, it switches it. It's a clever performance technique. So it can give you all this information. I'm just randomly taking some of the sections and explaining you this, but you can go and try it yourself. Similarly, I can also check about, I can ask about, why this particular network is slow. It will find out what is causing the problem. Alright. And it's all available as an AI assistant here. Right, now we'll move to the next one. So this one you can find out all this information. Because of the time limitation, I'm not going through all of them. Let's try a different demo now. So going back. Now we'll see some of the styling and sourcing assistance using AI. For the same thing, I have to open a local app in my development. So let me do that. Okay, so I have a small application running in my development server. I use this, sorry, not this. Okay. Let me open it here. So this is a very simple application. So everybody heard about GitHub, right? So you can build a simple application using GitHub search API where you can come and search about users here. So if I search for Shidhin, I get some of the users. I click on this one, I get to see all the repositories that I have. It's a pretty simple application. But after developing it, I feel like I use some gradients here. I don't like the gradient. I want to try a different gradient. But how can I easily do it? Let's try something. So I come here on the inspect. Okay. Now I know that this is the main component which is using the gradient. Okay. But every time when I hover on this, you can see that the AI button comes here. And this AI button comes for all the HTML nodes, the network requests, source element, JavaScript code and all. So I click on this debug with AI. And the latest feature, I can also attach image here. Okay, let me actually find an image. So I'll use this color gradient. And I'll ask them, use this color gradient as the background. So based on that image, the AI generates what is the color gradients to apply here. But the good thing here is since you are already on a browser, it can apply it for you. So let me actually go to apply. I'll say continue. See, it's already applied. This is how it looks like. So I'm happy with this now. Now I'm going to take the changes and put it back in my code. So all the changes that AI applied, I can see it here on the changes. If I come here on the changes, I can see that, okay, this is the new code the AI generated. All I need to just copy paste it and put it back to my original code. Similarly, I can actually try this. See all these things, all the user list which came here. I don't like the way it's been shown because there are so much white space on the right side. Probably I should actually put this in a 2-column layout. But for that I have to go and lay the latest CSS grids and all. But I just want to try out how it looks like. So what I do is that I come here, I select the whole thing, and I just go over to the AI assistant. So you can see that the context is already selected here. Make this as a 2-column layout. Let me see what this does. Seems like it generated some code. Let me try to apply it and see what happens. Seems like it didn't change there because I selected the wrong one. I should have selected this one. Yeah, so changing the layout to 2-column layouts immediately, so I can find out how it looks like. So once this is a very good tool for iterating. I can iterate the UI on the browser itself, keep iterating, and once I've saved that, I could do it. 5 minutes more? Okay, cool. So I'll just rush this thing a bit. So there is one more demo that I want to show you here, but probably I won't be able to do it because of the time. But let me switch to the next one. Now, other one is that I could actually technically fix any JavaScript code issues with this. So probably I am not showing that demo now because of the time limitation. But there is one more interesting demo that recently, after I prepared this talk, came up, and now Chrome Devtools support MCP tool. So they came up with a new MCP tool that you can use with any of your favorite AI tool, like you can use it with Cloud, Cursor, and all. And these are some of the resources. If you want to take a photo, just take it. These are some of the resources for the AI assistant. Let me know once you're done, and I'll switch to the last section of my talk. Okay, bonus. They came up with MCP server. Now MCP servers are everywhere. How many of you know about MCP server? Okay, MCP servers are nothing but tools. It's the tools for your AI agents. Okay, so They also built one MCP tool for Chrome Devtools. I'll just give a quick demo about that. I could use Gemini CLI here, but probably I'll, let me try to use the Gemini CLI. If you don't know how to use Gemini CLI, it's free for the time being. You can go to aistudio.google.com, create a key, and then download the Gemini CLI and do it. Okay, so I'm here. I'll close this. First, I'll show you. I already have configured the Gemini CLI here. I already downloaded it, so you have to do it. So Gemini CLI, once you download it, will be available as Gemini here, and I already changed the settings. So you can see that in Gemini settings.json, I have this Chrome Devtools configured. Okay, so similar to other tools, you have to configure the Chrome Devtools. So this is done, and now I'll use Gemini. Gemini is facing some connection issues. Okay, since Gemini is taking time, I'll show you my Claude. I also have Claude. Still authenticating. Fine. So in Claude, I already configured it. You can see that if I just go to extension or developers, I have Chrome Devtools also already configured. Let me start with a new chat. Use Chrome Devtools MCP and do a performance profile for, I'll use my website. So you can see that it basically uses the tools and then find out. Okay, seems like it's not working now. Yeah, it's not working, sorry about that. As I said before, right? Demos are supposed to fail. No regrets. So, but again, the point is that you can use Devtools MCP and you can just simply, instead of doing all this work that I've tried in Devtools, you can just go and tell that, just go check this website, find out what's the LCP score, why the performance is slow. It gives you all the details in the AI tool itself. If you're building an agent, you can actually build agents using Devtools MCP as one of the tools. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So some more. Let me get to this. So since the time is less, I can take questions offline. I'll be available here till noon. So if you have any questions about, you can come and ask. Take a screenshot of all these. These are some of the things about Devtools, working with AI and all. Okay, done? Fine. Again, thank you so much. I know that this will be intermediate or high level course, but if you're a full stack developer, if you're building your own product tomorrow, this might be really useful for you. Again, that's my handle, Shidhin C R. If you want to get in touch on LinkedIn, give me feedback. That's all. Great, thank you. You have to time for asking questions now?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I'll take couple of minutes if you have any questions too. Otherwise, I'll be available offline. Any questions? Alright then, thank you.
See you, sir. I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for the wonderful session. And as you said, Chrome has really good DevTools and it has a lot of different features. But it also produces a lot of attack vectors for cybersecurity purposes and attackers. So recently, even this year, we had 3 major flaws which caused a major attack vector for in DevTools, which causes a lot of losses. So, do you really think the cons outweigh the pros of this DevTools with AI?
One of the last if you're talking about attack vectors for Chrome itself.
No. Attack vectors caused by AI, which is implemented in the DevTools.
I'm not aware of that though. But very similar question I faced. For example, AI, if you look at any web application, right? The source code is minified and it's compressed. A human cannot read it, but AI can. Since all your JavaScript code is public, you could technically use AI to go to any minified compressed JavaScript file and ask it to reverse engineer it. That is actually possible using DevTools AI. That is possible. Does that answer your question?
No, sir. I'll talk to you offline, sir.
Right.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Shidhin, for sharing your valuable insights. Your session gives a clear perception on optimizing performance, precision, and efficiency. As a token of our appreciation, we would now like to present a memento to Mr. Shidhin C R for his insightful session on performing profiling using Chrome Devtools. I now kindly invite Mr. Siddharth to do the honors.